$15 an hour? Oh gosh, $15 an hour. $15 an hour. $15 an hour. Man, $15 an hour? $15 an hour federal minimum wage increase coming at you. How does $15 an hour change things? In what ways? Who benefits? Who gets that coin? All in this episode. Hey, thanks for tuning into my channel as we talk about that $15 an hour federal minimum wage increase. Before we go any further, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Share it with a friend as well. Stay tuned to the end of this video and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do before this $15 an hour minimum wage gets increased. So we got to do some backlog before we go any further. There's a federal minimum wage and then there's a state level minimum wage. So there's all different types across the United States of America. Federally, it is $7.25 an hour. Maybe you're watching this video and you're like, holy crap, I didn't know it was that low. Now for tipped workers, it's $2.13 an hour. Now you got to understand those are for tipped workers like restaurant waitresses or waiters. Those are ones that work hourly, but most of their money is made on tips. Now, the example of states that are minimum wage are like Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. Those states are at minimum wage. Texas actually has $7.25 as listed as their state level, but it is also the federal level. Alabama, Mississippi, some of the other ones in the South are just at the federal level. Now, some states have made it much higher, like Florida. Florida, for instance, has put in that federal minimum wage is $8.56 an hour, and then tip minimum wage is $5.54. Going up north, minimum wage in Michigan is actually $9.87, and then they have a tipped wage that is $5.75. Now you go out west like Colorado, and their minimum wage is $12.32, and their tipped is actually $9.30. So there's a huge difference when you go to different states. Now you got to take into account the population level, the standard of living, and things like that is the reason why those states have different minimum wages. A great place to go find out about every state is epi.org, and you can see that link below. For the most part, a lot of people think that minimum wage needs to be increased. In 2019, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill called the Raise the Minimum Wage Act. And that act would raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025. Now, when is this going to happen? Now, you have to understand a little bit about government. You don't just pass a bill and it happens. It's got to pass through the Senate. It's got to be signed off by the president. So there's processes that it has to go through before it gets signed into law. As this video was made, our newly elected president, Joe Biden, has pledged to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, he also wants to kind of do away with the tip wage and just merge those together. And so each wage would be exactly the same. So saying all that, what really happens if it goes from federally $7.25 to $15? That's more than 100% raise. I mean, we got questions like, what does it do to the economy? What does it do to the small businesses? So let's answer some of those questions. So first, what does it do to the economy? First thing it does, it puts more money into people's pockets. The more money in people's pockets, the more money they're going to spend. That's how it's supposed to work anyways, right? So let's flip over to small businesses. How does this 100% increase in minimum wage affect small businesses? Now, you got to understand, it's going to affect small businesses in different ways across the nation. In some places like Washington, D.C., they already have $15 an hour minimum wage. In like Colorado, it's close to $15. So you have these minimum wages that are scattered across the nation, but they're in different levels of cost of living areas. So I asked this question on my personal Facebook page. Because I'm a business owner and I own a party rental company, I said, I'm cool with minimum wage at $15 an hour. If y'all cool with renting kiddie water slides for $500. Now, I got some pretty good comments on this. So I'm going to share a couple. And a couple are actually these are from real people. These are from small business owners and from people that are in the area, my area, which is Alabama, that really have a concern about it. So the first comment is from Angie, which is a family member of mine, and she's a teacher at a local high school. Now we can math this thing and figure out what you would get over a course of a year, like what a yearly salary would be at $15 an hour. at 40 hours a week. You just times 15 times 40, which is 600. 600 times 52, which is $31,200. So we got a $31,000 a year salary if we move it up to $15 an hour. So Angie sees a problem with this because $31,000 a year is really close to what teachers that go through 4 years of college get paid with just an undergraduate degree. So we've got Michelle here that is a small business owner, and I'm going to kind of read a little bit about what she says. Says, yep, we have to let 2 people go, meaning adding to the already increased unemployment rate, and drop 2 people from full-time to part-time, meaning they lose their benefits. And none of my higher up employees will get their earned raises since lower level employees are getting raises. Also, employees that stay will have to do the work of the ones that are letting go, meaning they'll have to work harder and have diminished quality of life, which, yeah, that's true. Also, we hire a good bit of recent college grads and pay them between $12 and $14 an hour out of college with no experience. So now, why would I hire someone with no experience for $15 an hour when I can hire someone with 5 years of experience for $15 an hour? Good luck to recent college grads getting a job after graduation. So she sums it up. Higher unemployment, less employee benefits, lower quality of life, removal of raises for higher level employees, and no jobs for new college grads. In Michelle's take for her business, there's a lot of things that are going to happen if they raise this to $15 an hour. So I'm going to give you a little insight into most small businesses and how they structure their profit, expenses, and payroll. So most of it's built on thirds. Now, it's like the rule of thumb in restaurants, but it's the rule of thumb in most businesses anyways. It's the rule of thirds. A third is your payroll, a third is your expenses, and a third is your profit. So with payroll being increased that much, it really skews that model. So most small businesses that are in areas that aren't accustomed to that higher minimum wage are going to be hugely affected. Did I just use the word hugely? So how is this really going to change things? Now in Colorado, you have $12.32 an hour minimum wage. So that's really not a high increase for Colorado. But in Alabama and Tennessee's a huge state with a lot of working people. I mean, Tesla just moved there. Oracle just moved there. Now I understand that they're not hiring people at minimum wage, but $7.25 an hour is minimum wage and $2.13 an hour is for tip workers. So number one, some people gonna get that coin. Some people gonna get a raise. It's gonna be good for some people. Some people are gonna go from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour. That is a huge increase. That is doubling their salary over the course of a year if they work 40 hours. Well, it's doubling it regardless if they stay at the same hours. But you always got to remember this with workers that get raises. With a raise comes increased responsibility. For some, that is totally cool. They're ready for that increased responsibility. They're ready for that extra money. So this is a good thing for some people. For others, some people are going to get laid off. As we look at that one comment from Michelle, she is going to fire 2 people and others are going to be decreased in their time. So you're going to get people that feel underappreciated, some people that feel appreciated, some people that get raises, some people that lose their money, some people that are not going to be able to get a job, all because of just one simple thing of increasing the federal minimum wage. You're going to see a whole lot of things change with small businesses, with the way people work. Just think about this. Walmart. Remember like 15, 10, maybe even 5 years ago? Probably not 5 years ago. But you go into Walmart and you actually take your buggy. We call them buggies. You take your grocery cart, you go up to the conveyor belt, and you put everything on the conveyor belt, and you actually have someone that checks you out. Now, you go into Walmart, and you have to do it yourself. I went into a Walmart the other day. It was a neighborhood Walmart, and they had no cash registers. They had converted the entire store into self-checkout. Now, I'm a big fan of Walmart pickup because you just drive up, they bring it out, and they just load it in your car. And Walmart has done a good job of shifting those responsibilities. The people that used to have to sit there to cash register, now they've put them in the pickup. And so they're going and getting things for people that are picking up. So Walmart has done a good job of shifting those responsibilities and making it more accommodable for customers. So those are things that you're going to see with small businesses, not just big corporations like Walmart, but you're going to see small businesses start to scale down and really get tunnel vision on what they really need to do to focus in on customers. Is that a good thing? I think it's a great thing, but you're also going to have those businesses where it's not as easy to change those systems. And so you're going to have wage earners that are either cut down and wage earners that are given a little bit more money with a lot more responsibility. So here it is. This is what you need to know about the $15 an hour federal minimum wage. If it passes, something's going to pass. I promise you, something is going to happen. But this is what you need to know. There isn't a better time in the world to know your worth. And what I mean by knowing your worth, I mean by knowing what you can do for society. Because here's the thing, you've got to understand, if you can do something for society, society will pay you money for it. So that goes into having a trade, learning how to weld, learning how to fit, learning how to build houses, learning how to write software, learning how to edit videos like this one, learning how to take pictures, learning how to do any sort of thing that society needs. There is not a better time than now that you need to hunker down and start building your knowledge. I mean, there are great places like Udemy, and I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but it's udemy.com, and you can go and learn almost anything on that website tech-wise. There are schools that are in your area, community colleges, that have trade programs that you can get in and you can learn a trade and you can get out of there and you don't have to worry about making $15 an hour because those jobs are setting you up for $30 an hour jobs. So listen, let me encourage you today, if you're watching this video, if you've watched this to the end, know your worth. Get out there, learn something, learn a trade, know what you're worth to this society. Don't be just stuck on minimum wage. Don't be stuck at thinking, oh, $15 an hour is going to be great. If it goes from $7.25 an hour to $15 an hour, you need to be worried about making $25 an hour, $30 an hour. Listen, this is not a time to just be satisfied with what the federal minimum wage is going to give you. You've got opportunities. This is America. It's the best land in the world. So get out there, learn something, and know your worth today. Hey, I want to thank you again for tuning into this video. Hit that subscribe button at the bottom. Like this video. Share it with a friend. Comment. I love to comment back at you. If you got a question, ask me. Head on over to my social media pages at Middle Class Man with 2 N's. And like my pages and connect with me if you like. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.